G'day, folks. Anthony here from Supernal magazine, and we are doing our interview series. We've got an amazing person that we're going to be talking to this afternoon, and on a very drizzly old day here in Melbourne, where it's been rather rainy and horrible and what have you, we are very excited to be getting this interview together. Just look at supernalmagazineaustralia.com.au, and you can look at our free bi-monthly magazine. And you can also pay a small subscription and get access to all 60 back issues that we have currently. Joining me today is the lovely Freya from Western Australia. Good afternoon, Freya. How are you?
Hi. Hi, everyone. Good to be here. And I think Anthony, we've brought the rain here. It's just started for the week. We've just had beautiful days, lots of gardening. It's been good.
Yeah, well, we've needed the water. I know that much. It's just that it's been very, very dry. So you helped organise this interview, and this was done at very short notice, considering we're about to meet our new guest, John Paul Eagleheart, and he is a shaman of note. He's a teacher. He's a writer. We're very excited to be exploring some of the writing that he's going to potentially do for Supernal, which is exciting. And of course, he spends a lot of his time traveling around the world, and he's based in Melbourne and just down the road. So I'm very excited to be introducing him. So thanks for organising that, Freya.
That's my pleasure. And I just want to give a great big shout out to Victoria from Crystal Universe in Melbourne and Perth. She's located in Melbourne, and she is the goddess who introduced John Paul and myself. Thank you, Victoria. You're a legend.
Excellent, excellent. All right, without any further ado, let's introduce John Paul Eagleheart, our master shaman and all-round nice guy. And I had coffee with him this
Yay.
morning, so I can say that with some honesty. Welcome to Supernal interview series, Mr. John Paul.
I love the title All Around Nice Guy. I'm going to use
Yes.
that.
Yeah, you can,
I love
hey,
that.
look, when you're a writer and an author and an editor, you
Yeah.
can use words that other people don't, but that's a good one. All-round nice guy. Feel
All
free.
Around Nice Guy.
Yeah, there's
Cool.
no
Yeah.
copyright on that.
Excellent. Excellent. No, it's beautiful. I had a quick look at Supernal magazine because until I heard from Fred, I didn't know about it. But it's a beautiful, beautiful publication.
Thank you.
And I think the thing that I love about it is it's just really practical. You
Yep.
know,
Oh,
the
we,
people that are writing for people to read it and to learn something and to take that in and then do something with that knowledge, which is so beautiful. It's
yeah,
not just grandizing their thing. It's saying, how is this practical? How can you use this? How can I stretch your mind, open your heart? I think that's a beautiful thing. So well done, guys.
thank you. Thank you.
Yay.
It's a good team that have been putting it together since we started, and
Mm.
the team has changed and molded and moved around, and the current crop of artists and writers are all doing a pretty amazing job,
Mm.
and I
Yeah.
love reading their
Gorgeous.
stories.
Gorgeous.
Mm.
Well, what do you think? What do you think your readers, viewers want to know?
Well, yeah, I like the way you say that. What do they? They probably want to know the ins and outs of a duck's guts, very
Yeah.
Australian term. But, but let's start with who is John Paul? Where did you come from? What's your passion? What's your drive? And sort of where did you get the surname from?
Yep.
Because it's an unusual one.
Yep. So, I guess in a nutshell, I was just a theater guy. I was a theater actor, director dude. And then when you turn 27, as you guys know, it's your Saturn return. So I happened to be in Chicago directing operas at the time of my Saturn return, and a whole bunch of very bizarre circumstances, but that's a story for another time, uh, ended on my birthday, September the 20th, when I would turn 27, with me being apprentice to an Inuit medicine woman.
Wow.
And I was like, okay,
Ta-da!
sure. So for a year and a day, I was kind of like the shaman sampler pack. There was a bit of, what's your medicine? So a little bit of herbal. I learned a bit of herbal stuff. I learned a bit of mediumship. I learned a bit of sight whispering. I was trying to figure out, what is your medicine? What is the thing you're going to do? So I was passed around from elder to elder, grandmother to grandmother, all across North America, Canada, North America, Canada, US, into the UK. Some incredible druids took me and taught me star tethering
Wow.
on Inishmore outside of Ireland. I ended up being thrown into the ocean as a training with a kahuna in Hawaii. And all of that ended with me being taken in by two medicine men in British Columbia. And that truly felt like home. So when I got to that particular bit of land, I knew the land. I fell to my knees. I started to cry. I just knew things. And I knew some songs, and some memories started to come. And Grey Wolf said to me, "Well, I think you're home now." So it's very beautiful. And that's a 7-year journey of men's initiation. So very formal, very traditional initiation. And it was 7 years. And it's a lot about men. What's the role of men? What does it mean to be responsible? What does it mean to be in right relationship? So it's beautiful for 7 years. And somewhere in that period, I was given the name Eagleheart. And I'm like, okay, sure, Eagleheart, whatever. And then, as it turns out, I was in Oklahoma at one point with some medicine people. And one of the grandmothers in Oklahoma said, "I want to give you a medicine name." And I thought, I wonder how you do that. Do you have two names? How does that work? So she said, "The name that I think you should have is Eagleheart." I'm like, well, funny you should say that. So that's how that happened. And I'm a pipe carrier and a ceremony man. And what I discovered, my particular medicine is going to a location and scanning the frequencies of that location and introducing myself and being willing to listen and learn what the ancestors or the spirits of that place have to say. And then suddenly, if it's Thursday today, I suddenly look out and it's Thursday, the same Thursday, but 5,000 years ago. And I'm just talking to whoever's there. So my sight whispering is not that I interact with some kind of omniscient spirit who knows everything. It's just whoever's there. So it might be the woman that's, polishing the crystals. It might be a young person who's delivering water. Sometimes I meet someone and, we have a bit of a chat, and they're quite comfortable seeing spirits, which is interesting to me. That 5,000 years ago, you knew that you lived in a world that was multidimensional. So I envy that of them. So quite often they say, "Oh, you're just a spirit from the future." I'm like, well, yeah. So it was quite normal for them to have that kind of experience. And sometimes the person, I'm asking questions about the purpose of a place or how it was used or what kind of rituals. And that's above their pay grade. So they'll say to me, "Wait here and I'll go get someone who's maybe better to help you." And I do. I just stand there with the people I'm with, and some other spirit comes and a conversation carries on. So I guess the end of that, the question you've asked is that at the end of the 7 years, you go into the teepee with the elders and there's a big discussion about your future. And the elder said to me that I would live to a time when the world would be dangerously out of balance. And I was to use my gift of going to sacred sites around the world and contact the ancestors and ask them for help and advice and bring that back. So that's what I've been doing for 30 years.
Wow.
Going to sites all over the world, asking for advice and help and bringing it back.
What an amazing, let's just discover a whole 7-year lifetime that goes and spans multiple dimensions and go,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, all done in like 5 minutes. That's it. No problem.
Yeah. Yep.
When John Paul and I were talking offline the other day, and you were talking about when you got thrown into the ocean. I'd love to circle back to that if that's allowed,
Sure.
because you said, what did they say to you when they threw you into the ocean?
If the goddess accepts you, she'll return you to the shore.
And how was that getting back to the shore for you?
Well, so you're in the water, tumbling, and I'm thinking, oh, this is not good. This is so a bit of panic, a bit of panic, a bit of fear. And then suddenly a big wave comes and shoves me up. So my head is now out of the water, and I feel this pressure just behind my back that just shoves me forward. So I'm trying to run, and eventually it comes shallow enough that my feet hit hit ground, and I just start to run with the wave to the shore. And I'm
Wow.
kind of looking behind me thinking, well, okay, I guess.
That's
So
well cool.
yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
it was part of, um, I think one of the things that it's important for all of the viewers is just to trust that spirit has a plan. That if this has happened to you, and if you're feeling the call and you're discovering that you have particular abilities or gifts or awarenesses or curiosity, as Freddie Silva says, the management has this in control. So just trust. So
Well,
that,
we think we're in
True.
control. We're not in control. What is control? Come on.
you know, our job is to manage this thing, right? We have to manage this thing. That's
Oh,
it.
Freya, you've got to manage a beard, my friend.
The meat suit. It's the meat suit, Anthony.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Dear.
So the Hawaii trust story is I get a phone call. This is back when we had landlines. The phone rings. Is this John Paul? Yeah, yeah. Congratulations, you've won a trip for two to Hawaii. I'm like, I never,
Woo!
I never entered as sweepstakes or anything, but okay. Stranger things have happened, so sure. So as it turns out, it was some kind of a timeshare thing, and that you get off the plane and they try to sell you a timeshare condominium somewhere. So that was the gimmick, but who cares?
Sounds good.
So I say to Spirit, Hawaii, and the only instructions I get is get to the island of Kauai, travel to the north, and I see a picture of a parking lot. I'm like, could we be a little more specific? That's a bit vague.
Go to the
But
parking lot.
there is only one. There is only one North Road on the island of Kauai, so that wasn't. That was truly.
That's
So
helpful.
I'm traveling with a dear Canadian friend of mine who's up for these kind of crazy adventures. So we drive, and I'm like, ah, there's the parking lot. So we pull in, and she says, "So what now?" And I said, "I have no idea. I don't know. I'm here. I made it." So we're kind of looking at brochures and fun things to do in Kauai, and so there's a knock on the her passenger window. She rolls down the window, and this beautiful, big, grinning Hawaiian pokes his head in across her, looks at me, and says, "You're late."
Of
And I
course
thought,
you are.
oh.
Uh,
And then huge grin, big laugh, and he laughs and laughs and laughs and laughs and laughs. And he looks at my friend and he says, "I'll have him back here in 4 days." That was it.
And
So
you're
it's
like,
like,
have fun with the brochures.
yeah. So she had a great adventure. She did all the touristy things, and I got thrown into the ocean and almost died.
yeah, almost died. I like that.
Awesome.
Shark infested. But if somebody offers to throw you in the ocean up north of Australia, think twice. I know you've lived here for a bit of time, but there's crocodiles, there's jellyfish, there's all sorts of sharks, there's all
Blue
new
ring
things.
octopus.
Yes. Well, we get them down
Everything.
here in Melbourne too, so yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I would think twice about that if somebody offered to throw me into the ocean up there.
Well, I didn't know. So it was just this. I was joined a group of other young men who were going through their men's initiation with Kuni, was his name. Um, so I didn't really know what was happening. I was the first, so I didn't get to see anyone get thrown in to be scared that this was. I had no idea. So it's called a heiau, which is like a pier that's jutting out into the ocean. So I think we're going to go to the end of the pier. We're going to call the ocean. We're going to have a thing with the goddess. It's going to be this beautiful celebration. I'm going to get to wear a flower lei. I mean, I have no idea. So we walk to the end of the pier, and they're like, "Whoop."
I can just imagine.
Thanks for
You know
going.
why they threw you in first, don't you? Because you
Well,
weren't the
yes.
local and you were the tester. So, if a giant whale came along and just swallowed you up, well, so be it.
What Canadian guy? No, we never saw a Canadian guy.
No one like that's visited here.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. What a great story.
Yeah, so it's been that kind of a life. I mean, you both lived that kind of a life where,
Hmm.
one of the things that's fun about meeting the two of you is we could just sit. I mean, it would be great if we could sit out on the ground and have a fire, but the
We
trading of
will.
stories, the trading of stories is so fun. It's just so crazy.
That's the thing. And doing it under an umbrella in the rain with a Pina there trying to get out
Yeah.
of the rain with her little wet tush.
Yeah.
That's a doggo, by the way.
Yeah,
Just
that's for those that don't know, that's our dog. Well, my dog specifically, who I'm babysitting a bit at the moment, and I thought I'd said
Yeah.
to John Paul the other day, we're meeting for a coffee, catch up, share some stories, and if it's not raining too hard, do you mind if I bring my dog along? And he's gone, yeah, sure. And we got there and it wasn't raining. It certainly got raining, and there was flooding coming through, with lifting bags up as water's running under our feet. So, a bit of cleansing going on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so
Exactly.
be half. We
that
got
that
we
makes
got
it fun.
lots to do together. I'm very excited about all that's coming along. So, John Paul, after you had this extraordinary 7 years, you what is it? What have you branched into from that time? You talked about sight whispering. So, can you lead us on a little bit of a journey from where you've been since then?
Sure. So I wasn't, I discovered that sight whispering was my medicine.
Mm.
So it started in, as I was moving around the world and being passed around, I was in Ireland at a place called Loch Gur. And again, the same friend that was in Hawaii, coincidentally.
Hmm.
We were in Ireland together, and had learned how to do a shamanic journey. So, the drumming, lower world, descend, great. So I thought, well, let's just do a little bit of a lower journey because it's all about this lake and the mystical things about this lake and the goddess that is within Anya, that is within the lake. So I thought, all right, let's do that. So I tried, but I wasn't really going under. So I just kind of rested and paused for a moment to think, I wonder what's happening. And I start looking around, and the landscape is changing, and it's not the way it
Mm.
was before. And suddenly there's a group of women having a council over there. And one of them comes over and sees me and says, "Oh, well, welcome. Thank you." So it was kind of like a journey, like that I'd experienced, but not exactly. So then she explained how their matrilineal society worked, how they valued creativity above everything.
Mm.
Creativity was the highest value. So they were artisans, they were metal workers, um, they were agriculturalists. I mean, it was just incredible. So they valued creativity to the extent that they never had a child with the same man twice.
Wow.
Because
Wow.
why would you? We've done that.
Well, there
So,
is that. Yeah.
yep. So it was really, really interesting. So that was incredible. And it was a full tour, lasted the whole day. They wanted me to go up to the top of a hill that they said was the birthing circle. And I had to go find the top of the hill. So again, there's this dimension that you're accessing, and then there's the dimension where this body is, and they're not the same. So they're
Mm.
saying, come, we'll meet you at the top of the hill. What hill? Where's the hill? So, that's always been a bit of a challenge that sometimes, because they don't know what the landscape looks like in our time, and I'm trying to navigate our landscape in their time. So it's always a bit
Mm.
of an interesting challenge. Um, but that's part of the fun of it. And I think the thing I've learned over the years is I travel with people because I love that. I love sharing this stuff. I know it's not that interesting just to go by yourself. I mean, it's great, but you have to record things and you have to figure out how you're going to share that information. But if you're with someone else, it's more fun. And the joy of having someone with me is they get to ask the questions. So I often describe sight whispering for what I do, kind of like a radio, right? That right now there are, a dozen other radio signals in the air right now, but we're not hearing them unless you tune to one. So I've learned over the years that I can have an intention. So if I'm at a place and I would like to talk to the builders of this site, that Bosnia, for example, I said, I either want to talk to the builders, the spirits around that were the builders of these sites, or when you get to the tunnels about 5,000 years ago, the tunnels were filled in and closed. So I said, I either want to talk to the builders or the civilization that closed the tunnels and backfilled them. So I'm pretty good at doing that. So I used to just go in whatever the dominant frequency was. That's who I talked to. But now I'm getting better at having an intention. And I think that's one of the keys is that the clearer you are with your intention, the more you can navigate all the parallel realities that are all stacked on this particular Thursday. So it's been just traveling from place to place. I never really have an intention of going somewhere. I get invited somewhere, or it just makes sense that that's where I should go. That's how I met Michael Tellinger. I had no idea who he was, but a spirit in Scotland told me that I would know about these spirits because of my knowledge of ancient Sumeria and Mesopotamia. Okay. I remember basically in
You're
school.
like, let me just rifle through my Akashic records.
Well, exactly. Exactly. So I start Googling ancient Sumeria and I come up with Zachariah Sitchin and I come up with
Mm.
Anunnaki and Michael Tellinger. And it just so happens that he and Dean Laprini are running a tour. I'm like,
Mm.
oh, but I'm teaching. So I'm teaching at the university here in Melbourne. And so I can't go. I'm like, oh, well, can't go. And then I get a call from the head of curriculum at the university that says, you know what? I'm teaching at the circus school. And she said, we've made a mistake. The students have to take 3 weeks off because they're going to go into performance. So your class has to go on pause for 3 weeks, the exact 3 weeks of the tour.
Woo!
Yep. Boom. Exactly.
So that's typically how these things happen. Um, in my second trip to Bosnia, I was talking to the people over at Gaia, and we were talking about things we wanted to do together. And so I was showing them some pictures of Bosnia, and they were like, we want to go to Bosnia. We want to do an episode in Bosnia. You've been to Bosnia? I'm like, yeah. They said, well, can you come on these particular dates? I'm like, well, actually, I can. So that's kind of how it flows for me, of being in incredible places all over the planet. Um, and France to Karnak, the standing stones of Karnak, always been on
Oh,
the
how
bucket list.
amazing are they?
Always been on the
I
bucket
had
list.
some wild times at Karnak.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Tell me.
yeah. I'll tell
Trade
you.
story. Let's trade a story.
Oh, okay. Um,
Oh dear.
well, I've been there twice, and there's where do I start? Okay, there's a particular area that you can go that is not run by tours.
Plouarnel.
And pardon?
Plouarnel, the village of Plouarnel.
Erdevin.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So in Erdevin, there's as you come into the main sort of area there, oh, it's breathtaking.
Mm.
And there's a big stone that looks like, I think it's like that. Oh, where's my thing? Like that. It's pointing up, and you can see the fingers. It's
Mm.
literally a hand pointing up. So I'm looking at this and going, what? And then there's this man standing ahead of us. And he's, he sort of walks, I walk up to him and I'm like, bonjour, and parlez anglais. And he's like, no, no. So I whip out Google, Google. He looked really interesting, right? So I was like, I whipped out Google Translate, and we started having a conversation. He was very polite. Next minute, he walks off. I was with a couple of people, and I see he's got these cargo pants on, and they're literally full of equipment. And I just go, follow that man. So we start to take off after him. And he's got all of this equipment that he makes himself, and he's measuring the energy fields of the stones. So he can see the life force in each one. He then proceeded to take us through because there's quite a lot there. There's quite a big walk, and then you go further, and there's the dolmens and things like that. So anyway, in some of the stones that you'll see, there's little carved out lines, and he showed us how the energy in the stones is goes from positive to negative. So you can read the positive to negative charge from
Yeah.
point to point in those carved out sections. So he was talking to us about that. And then there's another stone there that was struck. He told us it was struck by lightning, and it used to look one way, and then it literally looks like a howling wolf now.
Mm.
Just extraordinary. So I proceeded to take photographs of various different things. And of course, I'm in an altered state, tuned in and getting guided where to take photos. And then there is extraordinary things in those photos that
Mm.
are, some people might say the refraction on the lens. However, I wouldn't.
Right.
And there's, like dome-shaped craft with little domes on tops with arcs and dimensional portals that open in these different areas. So, and we ended up going home with he'd made these devices that you hold. You know how in Egypt you often see like Horus or the
Yep.
pharaohs holding the rods,
Yep.
and he literally made these rods. And when you hold them, you can feel it. Your energy field expands, so you can like use those in these spaces to charge yourself up to get even more access to more information. Yes, and he was recording at the stones. He was recording videos where he would literally get craft come in. You'd see them flying around and all sorts of stuff.
Mm.
Don't worry, I still have his contact details, John Paul.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll go.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, lots of wonderful times. Wonderful times there, and also loved it was really interesting last time I was there in Karnak, the Karnak alignments there. Do you know the stone that's the oldest of the lot, that they say is the oldest? There's one. I'll see
Hmm.
if I'll find a photo so we can flash it up in the recording, and maybe a couple of pics. Send some pics of yours as well too. So this one looks like it's got cracked serpent skin.
Wow. Beautiful.
And right near there, I noticed that they had sectioned off certain areas where the public's not allowed to go. So I started taking photos of all of those sorts of things
You
to
do,
see
no.
exactly what they were
Yeah.
up to. Very interesting stuff. You can see how much is actually carved out there, whereas obviously when you're on a tour there, they don't talk about any of those sorts of things. So you only get the watered down narrative.
Yep.
But
Yep.
yeah, magnificent place. Yeah, we went
Mm.
along many, many places that are right off the beaten track, and did lots of stone activations, activating things along the Michael and Mary line. It's
Mm.
good.
Gorgeous. Gorgeous. Yeah. No,
Mm,
incredible place. My
yeah.
journey was, again, I ended up booking an Airbnb with a woman who has a team that has been studying the alignments in the stones for 40 years, and they have published
Wow.
20 journals.
Wow.
That's
And that
huge.
was my Airbnb host. So it's like, okay, I think, thank you, thank you. Okay, this is going to work. So she took me to incredible places. And their theory is that it was this incredible training school. So that there are various villages that have dolmens, and all the dolmens had 5 chambers, and they were schools. That's where people went and they learned. Those were the mystery schools. So you had your
Mm,
local one, and then you might go somewhere else. And then she has the map of this path that takes you all the way to Gavrinis. So
mm,
that there's big ceremonies when you graduated with all of the knowledge and the wisdom. You would go through a ceremony at Gavrinis, back before it was an island. Um, and it was just incredible. So I would go to these dolmens and I would tune in and I would get to watch the school happening. And I would watch people being tested. I'd watch them have their exams. I would watch healings happen in those places. It was so spectacular.
Mm. It's been
amazing.
amazing. Yeah.
Govern is when when we went there, I was lucky to have a French English speaking tour guide, and she brought the rest of the people who came who were French, there was only a few of us who spoke English. And she said to us, you can go in and spend time alone inside.
Wow.
Uh, so yeah, I'm telling you, like I was transported instantly.
Yeah.
It was one of the most extraordinary experiences of my life being in there. It's incredible.
It was so similar to the Passage Mounds in Ireland. Blew my mind.
Mm,
The carvings, the symbols, the spirals, the circles, the concentric circles, the curves, the layout of the mound. I was like, wait a minute. So that's one of my curiosities is the culture, the Passage Mound building culture, stretching from Brittany
yes.
into Ireland through Germany. I mean, it's just been incredible. And I think I was saying to Anthony, one of the things that's so frustrating is that academics just write these off as tombs. It's all a tomb. You know, the pyramid, it's a tomb. These places, they're tombs. It's like, they were a lot more. I mean, yes, that was a place to have the dead reside for a time, but they were not mausoleums. They were
No, not
all
at all.
kinds of, no, it's so incredible. Yeah, love it. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, there are so many spots everywhere if you are just open to them. I spend a lot of time traveling Australia, and in a lot of cases, I've been sort of blessed that I can be taken into certain areas and just see some of the rock formations and stuff like that. And it's really like if we think, say, for example, you would know it, Freya, the Canning Stock route over in Western Australia. Have you
Hmm.
heard of that one, John Paul?
Yeah, yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah. Okay. So we we did a trip over there where we were playing Tailend Charlie, and one of the day trips we did out was to an area where there were lots of rock carvings and sort of not so much even hand drawn sort of stuff, but carvings themselves, so wave formations, people looking formations. And, we're right out in the middle of the desert. So we got to go out to this really remote location. It was a day's drive. So a day's drive out there is a big
Mm.
drive out to see these rock carvings and formations and working out what they look like. And you just get to wander around. And because so very few people know about it, it doesn't get damaged and there's no definite road to get there. But oh my gosh, it was stunning. And, this was all before I was really starting my spiritual journey as well into understanding all of this. But some beautiful country in Australia to find that
Mhm.
kind of thing, as there is everywhere else around the world. It's just, whether you're open to getting there or not.
Yep,
Mm.
yep, yep. And listening. I mean, a lot of times students say, I wish I could do what you do. And I said, well, just listen. I mean, it really is. It just comes down to listening. One of my favorite stories is, during those 7 years, Grey Wolf said, "Go talk to the river. I think the river has something that you need to know. So go talk to the river." Okay, so I go down to the river, and it's lovely and it's pretty, and so I come back, and Grey Wolf says, "What did the river say?" It was nice. I mean, it was really beautiful, and the energy. He's like, "No, what did the river say?" Um, well, nothing really. He's like, "Go listen harder."
So you didn't think to go back and say, it was like I was having a glass of water, it was
So true.
gurgling at me.
Yeah. I mean, I did go back and listened harder, and there was a very practical thing the river needed. It was not a big river, but a beaver had started building a major dam. And if the beaver would succeed, it would split the river and off, if you're going with the current, off to the left, would flood it would just start flooding. And if it stayed to the right, it would carry on in its channel. So the river said, "Can you help and make sure that the beaver doesn't dam this up and force the water to go to the left?" I'm like, "Yeah, I can do that." So it was a really practical thing the river needed.
Yeah.
So did you then telepath with the beaver or what happened? That's what I would
No,
have done.
no, there was nobody there. The beavers weren't. They were out getting dam getting dam building materials. So a bunch of the guys from the tribe and I went back and we just moved a bunch of stones around. So we blocked off um, the water going to the left. So we just took stones and made a kind of a levee, I guess you'd call it. So the beaver could go
Yeah.
crazy, but they weren't going to move a bunch of big stones.
Right.
So I'm sure the
That's
beavers
good.
came back and were like, "What the? Who's been here?"
Damn it. Oh dear. So run us through, obviously, or not obviously, for some people, they might not realize that Supernal's doing a trip to Bosnia coming up in June, so in a few weeks. And Freya's on again, off again, on again, off again journey through that has been pretty wild. And I've always been sort of saying along the way, no, no, you'll be fine, you'll get there somehow.
Mhm.
Somehow it works. So give us a heads up. What's your experience been in Bosnia and especially around dealing with Dr. Samir and what he's done for that area
Right.
as well?
So call him Sam. He Samir is the Bosnian. Bosnians call him Samir, but everybody else calls him Sam or
Dr.
Dr. Sam.
Sam.
Yeah.
Dr. Sam. Um, I think it's extraordinary, and I think the thing that I would take as you go is to realize that the science is done now. When he first discovered this and made the first discoveries, there was a lot of yipping about no, it's not, it's a hill, there's no evidence of it pyramid, oh, that's all a hoax. Well, 20 years later, 40 research papers published in peer-reviewed journals, the science is done. It's a pyramid, it's an artificially constructed pyramid. There's a measurable electromagnetic beam coming out of the top of it that you can measure. You can take your device and you can go, oh, look, 28 kilohertz. Whoops,
And it gets
look,
the same
28
measurement as
kilohertz.
all the other people have taken the device and done
Yeah.
the measuring.
So
Yeah.
I think
It's
that's a nice thing.
authenticated.
Yep. And so, Sam still tries to explain to people how authentic this is and how scientific it is. But for you guys, I would say when you get to the places, just tune in, wander off when you can. You're going to be on a pretty tight tour. But if you can, just wander to the edge. Everything that with all due respect, everything that Sam is telling you, you can read it.
Mm.
But the energy, when you're on the pyramid of the sun, the energy and your direct experience is special to you. So you'll stop at an area, and if you're Dr. Sam looking at all of you, go off to the left. There are some incredible stones. You'll go there after he finishes giving you the orientation, but go there fast. Because those stones, you'll see the stones the pyramid is built out of. Huge, deep, like a meter thick stones. Massive, big, rectangular, conglomerate stones. It's incredible. So I would encourage you to tune in and have as much exposure as you can. The Pyramid of the Sun will be the hardest place to get back to, because you have to get a car to take you up about 2/3 of the way, and then it's a lot of steps. And if it's summertime, it's hot and a lot of steps. So, and it's the Pyramid of the Sun is the big thing. I mean, the whole project, from what spirits told me, the whole project, the Valley of the Pyramids, was because the ancient civilization of the time, who were they? Maybe Atlanteans, but you can't ask, are you an Atlantean? Because they don't use that term. They don't call themselves that. So this ancient civilization had this idea to build this pyramid, the largest pyramid on the planet, to magnify the energy of the particular place. So the Pyramid of the Sun is really the reason for the whole thing. So as much time as you can spend sniffing around and feeling the energy of the Pyramid of the Sun, that would be a recommendation, because you're going to zip through that really fast.
Mhm.
And then the linking of them all. So there's the three pyramids that form an equilateral triangle. The Pyramid of the Sun, the Dragon Pyramid, and the Pyramid of the Moon form a perfect equilateral triangle. So when you're at those locations, well, you won't go to the Dragon Pyramid. When you're at the Pyramid of the Moon, connect back to the pyramid of the sun and feel into what's the relationship of these two places. That's the homework I'd give you, because then we'll have a big chat about that. What you pick up,
And do we
what
get
you
a
pick up
gold
about.
elephant star or something like that?
Yeah.
Or yeah.
Well, it's trying to put these
I want a
pieces of the
sun
puzzle.
star.
Yeah, put the pieces of the puzzle together because they form an incredible triangle. I wish you could get to the Dragon Pyramid, but it's a very arduous hike and it's not kind of tour ready.
Mm.
But this equilateral triangle, and in the middle of it, so I was obsessed with what's in the middle. So I kept getting this information that it's about the energy of this particular site, the energy of this place, the energy of this place. Everyone knew about the incredible energy of this place. And I was seeing images of this kind of swirling ball of energy in the earth, and that they couldn't put the pyramid there because the energy was too strong. So they had to build the pyramid off to the side so they could tap that energy but not be on top of it. So I was obsessed. I want to get to the center. I want to get to the center. What is that? Where is that? What's going on there? So that, if you ask around, someone could take you there,
Mm.
because that's incredible to be in the
Yeah.
actual center and feel that and go, oh my Lord. And it's a farmer's field, and nobody's ever been successful farming there.
I wonder why.
I wonder why.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
this is, I mean, two points to bring up here is Dr. Sam has been writing for Supernal now for quite a few issues
Oh,
and putting a lot of information. And yes, there's a lot of the science. However, he's also gone into all these other factors, the sacred geometry, everything else. So this has been sort of Freya's baby, interviewing him for every story we've been putting in. So there's a written story, but then there's an interview that goes with it, and the interview is even more fascinating. The story is a good heads up. It's over 2 pages, so it's a good heads
yeah.
up. But his detail when he's talking, and his passion, and his
Ah,
life, and
Yeah.
and how everything's coming to light about, if you put this over there and you overlay that and you do that and this, Fibonacci sequence comes up and this happens and that, it's just amazing. So
Oh, yeah.
those
it's
those
wonderful.
interviews have been working very well. And then the second part of that is the fact that what you were just talking about is something I heard you and Michael Tellinger talking about on the podcast that you guys have been doing. Just give us a bit of a brief on that, because I know we are sort of getting a bit tight on time. That's
We've
how
done
quickly it's
three.
gone.
We've done three. Help me.
Well,
What piece
we're
are you
we're
after?
The one
we're so
go on, Freya.
the one with the Stargate. Is that the one?
In
No, I
the
was
tunnel.
thinking,
The tunnels?
no, it's the one that you talked
Tunnels
about
was
going
great.
into the paddock, the one that I
Oh,
caught.
the
Oh, out in the
paddock.
paddock. Oh,
Yes.
Yeah,
okay. So yeah,
into the paddock. Yeah.
that was us. We found it. So a beautiful one of the volunteer coordinators, Estock, uh, figured out how to get there. So we drove with him, and so it was Michael, myself, and Estock sitting in the middle of this field in the blazing sun. And we get to the middle of the field. So I do my thing and introduce myself and say, I'm here to listen and to learn about the energy of this particular, what is it about this particular place? And this beautiful, really strong energy, feminine, female voice says, well, then really I'm the only one that can answer those questions for you. You'll have to talk to me. I'm like, okay, sure. Who are you? I'm Gaia. Like, the Gaia? Like, the I am teeny tiny little mortal dude, shaman dude. You are Gaia? And she's like, yeah, sure. I can do multiple things. I can multitask. What do you want to know? So it was this incredible conversation. And, Michael was so excited because he got to ask all the questions I wanted to know about space and time. So it was about 2 hours of this incredible conversation. And I think the thing that I would leave everyone with is this understanding that the Earth is transitioning. So this whole 5D, new Earth, whatever it is, it's happening. And she said to
Great.
us, well, I've never done this. I've never done it before. So I don't know. I can't tell you what's going to happen. What I can tell you is that right now, we're moving into a place where it's important to be formless and in form. So she said, if you can do the work to strengthen the reality that you have, that you are a formless consciousness, but also in a physical form, and that have both, you're going to get through the phase we're in right now. And she said, but going forward, I don't know. Is it going to be an all formless? So it was just beautiful because she said, I've never done this either. I've never. So she said there are older planets, older civilizations that have done something like this. So they're helping and they're advising, but we're all in this together, which I just loved. I loved that.
Yeah. Well, we are all connected. It's just that some people don't feel that we are, or don't feel that they are. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it's definitely a
And
thing.
that we've separated ourselves. I mean, the thing that I take from the Bosnian experience was the Gaia thing. Absolutely blew me. Um, but the the thing also is that back when they built this, we were connected and we knew that we were part of a huge, beautiful intergalactic family. And it makes me sad to think that we no longer look up there to our family, to our relatives. There's a prayer we say, brother, star brothers and sisters. No, but seriously, star brothers and sisters.
Mm.
And I love the fact that maybe
Totally,
one of the
star
things that's
brothers and
happened.
sisters.
Mm,
I do
yeah,
quite often.
yeah.
Yep.
And I think that, I encourage everybody to say, when you look up at the night sky, say hello. Please say
Well,
hello.
I sit on my deck
Every night,
in
say
my
hello.
spa.
Sorry.
I was just saying, I sit on my deck in my spa, and I've got a clear view of the sky and from different directions. And yes, there are trees around and all that sort of stuff, and you can see the energy in the trees, the consciousness. And I just look up and go, yeah, I wish I was home. You know, because this is the interim space.
Yeah.
But look, we've got to wrap it up because we're tight on time.
Yep.
However, how can people connect with you?
So I have a website, eagleheartshaman.com.au. But really, the best thing is I share these stories and I share my adventures on a YouTube channel.
Hmm.
So the YouTube channel is Eagleheart Shaman uh, on YouTube. And that's where I share these kinds of stories and share the wisdom of what the ancestors tell me and what they teach me and what they want to share. So that's probably the best way to follow me. The website, uh, is the stuff that I do, and I'm a trained Ridgy-Did shaman, so that standard soul retrieval, sound healing, the standard menu of the shaman.
Shaman. Yeah. Beautiful. Sounds like a good place for people to start. And yeah, and the talking about, writing for Supernal and,
Ooh.
pushing that barrow a little bit as well. And you've gracefully given me a couple of books to at least read and sort of get a handle on your writing style
Yeah,
while you're off traveling the world for the next 6 months.
3 months.
Oh, is it? Maybe you're
I'm
going to
back.
travel for
I'm
six.
back here in September.
Beautiful. You're going to push that.
Wonderful.
So
No, I
all
can highly
three.
recommend the YouTube channel. I thoroughly enjoyed listening to everything that I have so far. So
Excellent.
dive in.
Yep. We're republishing stuff because, in the 2 years, 3 years that we've done this, the technology has changed so much.
Right.
So we've just republished an adventure that I had where I met the first dwarf I'd ever met.
Yeah.
And because of what AI can do now and what image generation software can do now, I can describe these things and they can draw them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been really fun to republish some of these stuff and some of these pieces and add in because people want to know what does it look like? What was she wearing? What did that look like? And I can describe it, but now I
There's a
think
way to create it.
Ta-da.
Mm. I think the first ever elf I saw was just so far out of anything I was thinking about at the time that I had no idea. And it was literally getting a reflexology session with a good friend of mine. and I was looking out the window, just daydreaming, let it all happening, and I noticed one particular frond on the whole tree of this fern that was out there was moving up and down. And I went, that's a bit weird. I wonder what's happening there. And I just sort of defocused my eyes. And then I've seen this elf sitting on the frond, riding it like a horse, waving at me through the
Gorgeous.
window. And it's like,
Gorgeous.
okay. So, and I'm
Yeah.
saying to her, I said, you can see the frond out there, can't you? She's going, yeah. And I said, well, there's an elf sitting on the end of that, riding it like a horse. That's why it's moving up and down when nothing else is moving. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
but yes, I could
Going,
probably
ha
ring
ha
that
ha, none
person.
of you can see me
Yeah.
except
Yeah,
for him.
except for me. So, anyway, all right. Well, look, we're going to have to wrap things up. Uh, thank you very much, John Paul Eagleheart, for sharing your story with us and your journey. It's been
Sure.
beautiful to hear. And thank you to you, Freya, for your organizational skill in bringing all this together. And
Pleasure, as always.
people will be able to check out our YouTube channel and read about what John Paul is doing, read about what we're doing in Bosnia. And it is only 3 weeks away for us, so there'll be stuff coming up soon at www.supernalmagazineaustralia.com.au. Look out for a change. There is a change coming, people. And check out the website, subscribe. It's free, and you can then move up and pay a small subscription that will actually helps us to keep the magazine going and growing. So definitely check it out and subscribe and go from there. Yes, Freya.
And stay tuned for that next chat on the other side of Bosnia with John Paul Eagleheart. We're going to dive deep into the Bosnian alchemy of the pyramid sites
And the
Absolutely.
tunnels.
And wherever he is in the
and
world,
tunnels.
yes, we'll make sure we catch up with him. So
Perfect.
Woohoo!
he's given me his contact details, so I'll be able to track him down. I'll just send a message through Gaia.
Can't
You know,
escape.
maybe the thing we should do, not to promise anything, but I'm in Bosnia the 1st of July to the 10th of July. So maybe we could do this from me in Bosnia.
Well, that could
Let's
certainly,
do it.
That could be fun.
yeah, yeah. Well, let's work on that, and
Okay.
we'll go from there. So we can do
Not to
it.
promise anything, but we could try.
Look, who promises anything these days? It just if you say you do, isn't that what Yoda says? There is no try, just do.
Do
Yeah.
or do not. There is no try.
Yeah. So that's how it works. So
Perfect.
brilliant. All right. Thank you very much, everybody. Safe travels and have a supernal month.